Hello, hello, hello. I'm Andrea Stevens,
And I'm Jeanette Mejias, and we are Web's Women.
where exposure brings strength. Hello, my friend. Welcome back to the mic. Welcome back to the mic.
Well, hello and happy October.
Happy. It's my birthday month. It's my birthday month.
Yes, when is your birthday?
The 19th.
Oh my God, exciting, exciting.
I
Never too early to
know.
celebrate.
I know. You know what? I celebrate the whole month. I started it off, on a trip.
Yeah,
So,
I know you just
yeah.
came back from a girls' trip,
Yeah,
right?
I went to Arizona. Yeah.
Nice.
My favorite state. I went to Arizona, and there were 9 of us girls in a cabin in Prescott.
Nice.
Some people say the people that live there say Prescott. They even have hats that say PRESC or no PRESKITT. They have hats that say that because the people that live there say Prescott, and the people that don't live there say Prescott because it's spelled PRESCOTT. So
Oh,
anyway,
God.
I say Prescott, but whatever.
Hey, potatoes, potatoes. We
Right,
get
right,
it.
right.
We get it.
But let me
So,
tell you, we were at 8,000 feet elevation. We were in a 6,000 square foot cabin. It was the bomb. It was so great. The cabin was great, but the people, the girls, I had such a great time. I was blessed to be surrounded by these people. Root, who was our guest right when we first started our
yeah.
podcast, Root came on.
One of
Um,
the
OG.
OGs of the
Yeah.
podcast guest.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And all these girls are her friends from different
Okay.
walks of life.
Yeah.
And none of us really knew each other until she started to plan her wedding. And then she had, her bachelorette, but I couldn't go to the
Mhm.
bachelorette during the time. So I never made it. So some of the girls all met each other then, but it was really quick.
Mhm.
And so then everybody was there for the wedding. We all met at the wedding, and then they turned around and said, you know what, we're going to start every year. We're going to start every year in like the end of September ish and do this every single year. So,
That's
yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. So it was a lot of fun. Everybody is related somehow or way friendship wise with Root.
Yeah.
And we all got to be together. And it was great. I mean, everybody has different dynamics, everybody has different personalities, everybody has different baggage, everybody has, different triggers, you know what I mean? But we all were able to come together as one and do what you know what I mean, and have fun and enjoy ourselves. And we're already planning next year and where we're going. So yeah, wonderful.
Nice.
Wonderful. Besides my flight back. I mean, that was a shit show in itself. But yeah, I got in at 2:30 in the morning.
Ay,
Monday
ay.
night, Tuesday morning. Yeah.
Flying is never fun, I have to say. There's always
No,
an
it wasn't.
expectation of delays and all kinds of stuff. It's just,
See, I don't expect delays. So when there's a delay, I get pissed,
yeah,
Or
I
how
think
about I ran through the airport in Charlotte, booked. I mean, I ran like a mother through that airport. I even passed the 2 people that got off the plane in front of me, and they were trying to run too. I passed them flying. I was like, I'll tell them to wait. I'm yelling. I'll tell them to wait for you as I'm running by them. I get to the gate, and that flight is late. So I ran all
uh,
that way for no reason. I never got an alert that it was late. I never got a text like I did for the other one. So I
yeah.
ran. By the time I got there, I was like, shit, I need my inhaler. And it was packed in my luggage. So I didn't have my inhaler. So
God.
I tried so hard to like stop with with my breathing and control it. And whew,
Oh,
talk about talk about mental health awareness month. Let's
well,
talk about that.
yeah, funny. Yeah, funny you should mention that. I mean, October is a month of many things,
Yeah.
but specifically this week, I mean, it is what, October 3rd?
So
And as we're pre-recording. And so October 1st through the 7th is um, National Mental Illness and Awareness for the week.
yeah.
I mean, but
Yeah.
it is National Mental Health Month. but
Yeah.
mental illness for the week. So it's
It's for the week. Yeah.
yeah, at least that part, mental illness and mental health are two different things, right? And so
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
talk about it because we know that I think I've said this before, particularly here in our state in New Jersey, mental health has really quadruple. I mean,
Across the country.
yeah, really, it's very staggering, and
Hmm.
it's impacts across the board from adults to young children, and we have to have a really big um awareness when
Hmm.
we're feeling like we're out of sorts,
Yeah.
and sometimes people don't follow like what they're feeling, they ignore it,
Hmm.
and it's just really important to you know get those resources, the NAMI, um,
Hmm.
NAMI,
Hmm.
but that's the acronym NAMI, but
Right.
the name of that organization is the National Alliance on Mental Illness. They're a
Hmm.
wonderful resource because they're all over.
Yeah. And we'll make sure that we have the information for them in our description of our podcast so that people, if they need to see it, they have it and they have a
Yeah,
go-to for sure. Yeah.
yeah. And I think that because the climate, continues to be um it's just keeps evolving, for lack of a better word, and things are getting harder.
Yeah.
Um, Depression is setting in for a lot of people, and we need to know what those symptoms are. And if
Yeah.
you're experiencing any of these signs, this is for the adults. If you're experiencing any of these signs, you should, connect with the organization
Hmm.
money, and everything obviously is private. You can contact 800 number, and somebody can like walk you through that and assist
Yeah.
you in the time that you're in.
Right.
So I'm gonna run
Yeah.
through some couple of things, and maybe it's things that our listeners might have experienced or are currently experiencing, and then I want to also highlight some things that we should start seeing in children and teens.
Hmm. Hmm.
So for the adults, one of the things that you should look out for, you should consider getting some information or additional help if you start to have confused thinking, long-lasting sadness or irritability, extreme highs and lows in your moods, excessive fear, worry, or anxiety, socially withdrawing. That's
Hmm.
each one. Dramatic changes in eating, whether you're eating way too much or not eating enough.
Hmm.
Um, very strong feelings of anger, um, thoughts of suicide,
Hmm.
denial of obvious problems, many unexplained physical problems, and increasing inability to cope with daily problems and activities.
Hmm.
That's for the adults. I mean, um, and there's some other things too, but as far as older children or preteens, um, inability, let's see, excessive complaints of physical problems, also changes in their sleeping and eating habits, intense fear of gaining weight, defying authority, such as skipping school, stealing, or damaging property,
Hmm.
long-lasting negative mood, often along with poor appetite and thoughts of death, frequent
Hmm.
outbursts of anger. And then in younger children, below the teenage, changes in school performance, poor grades despite strong efforts, excessive worry or anxiety, hyperactivity, persistent nightmares, persistent disobedience, aggressive behavior, frequent temper tantrums.
Hmm.
Now, I do want to say it is mentioned here hyperactivity. There are many children across, the world that have ADHD or ADD.
Right.
That's different. So you have to be, you have to discern and distinguish when a child or a young adult has the ADHD, because ADHD and ADD does fall under mental health.
Yeah.
But it's not to say if someone has that condition, they have they're showing signs of depression. It's a
Right.
combination of things. And it's very
Sure.
important to be transparent, even having those conversations with our children or your loved ones, whether it's a parent, a family member, a sibling,
Mhm.
a partner, a spouse. Check in, like, what's up? You're
Right. Right.
off. You're not yourself. Is everything okay? How can
Yeah.
I help you? And I can tell you, and some of the things, just for full transparency, in reading some of the symptoms, or some of the experiences that you may be having, I've had some of those things. Has it
Yeah.
lasted more than 2 weeks?
Absolutely.
No, it has not. So if
Right.
these things that, I shared, if they're lasting more than 2 weeks, then yes, you have to
Yeah.
seek, medical attention or reach out to NAMI. Um, but you have to have that increased awareness, because of course I felt certain things, but have I stayed there? No. And
Right.
we have to have the tools to be able to help us, get through that, because it's very normal. I mean,
Right.
we have to normalize these conversations, because
Hmm.
people don't talk about mental health,
Right.
mental illness. And I applaud you, Andrea, for taking that pause and taking that girls trip, because that is balancing you
Yeah.
out, and it is such a great way of self-care.
Hmm.
Um,
Well,
we
and
need
two,
that.
I think I'm very self-aware. I am overly maybe self-aware. I know before I'm going to be triggered by something that it is coming. I know if my emotional state, like if I start reading into something that somebody, like I'll give you an example. I deactivated my Facebook. I do this every so often. I deactivate for a week, sometimes 5 days, 7 days. Sometimes I'll I'll deactivate it. Even if it pops back on after 7 days, I'll delete it again and deactivate, not delete, but deactivate it, because I know that I'm first of all, I spend too much time on it sometimes. And if I spend too much time, I don't want to keep looking at all these things. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like the news. Okay. You're scrolling through and it's just like reading the damn news half the time, I feel like. And I didn't like myself when I watched the news, and I watched the news mostly so much during COVID that I don't even watch it. I don't watch anything anymore. Nothing. I don't even know what's going on in the world half the time. Besides the Taylor Swift shit, I don't know anything that's going on anymore.
Oh my
But
God.
I don't watch
Yeah.
the news because I know that it puts me in a state that I'm like, I fuck the world, screw everybody. These politicians are idiots. And I start going on this. I didn't like who I was.
Mhm.
I hate the news. I hate it. I hate it. Okay. I think a lot of things that I'm not going to say right now, but I stopped because I knew. I stopped watching the news because I knew. Well, then with Facebook, I can tell I'm starting to read into what people are saying. Then I start wondering, what did they mean by that? And then if I get a private message, I'm like, well, wait, I wonder what they're thinking. They say this, but do they think that? Do they really feel this? And then I start thinking, what the hell do I give a shit? Stop with all of it. So I cut it off completely. I'll cut Facebook right off because I'm self aware and I know. And then when I come back on, I'm like, cool, I feel good. Just like when I went on my girls' trip, I deactivated my Facebook 5 days. I got back on Facebook for a couple days and then I left for my trip. And I enjoyed every minute. It was my downtime, with new, some girls that I've known for a short time. Some I didn't know at all. And one I knew, to her core, so the whole thing with that trip was more or less for us to all come together, just like we did at the wedding where we were all, in or attended in March, and come together again and really get to know each other. Cause you can't really get to know each other when you fly in for a wedding and you're doing all this stuff, you know?
No, I
So,
mean,
I knew I needed it though. And when I came back, I was easily got on the horn for work. I make 80 to 100 dials a day at work. I have people yell at me, hang up on me. I have people friggin', it's ridiculous what goes on with some of the people and what they say to me on the phones.
mhm.
And it can get very angry. I can get angry over it, or I can say screw it and not give a shit. Well, I always say screw it and I don't give a shit. I just keep on keeping on. I can't let other people bother me or get into my head. And I'm good at that. But when you do it day in and day out, sometimes it starts to, it gets rough. You need a break. You need a break. When you're in sales, you need a break. So when I came back after that girls trip Tuesday, I got in on Tuesday and I worked on Tuesday. So I felt though, even though I had no sleep, 2:30 in the morning, I work at 8, I got in at 2:30 in the morning, even though, I still was right on the money with I was fine with my calls. I was happy talking to people. It was like, I felt refreshed, rejuvenated. And my boss says every single day, shut it down. And I'm going to get it wrong. And I always do. So if Mike, you're listening, I am so sorry, but it's recharge, refresh, recalibrate, or refresh, recalibrate, recharge. I'm not sure, but he's going to kill me. But those are things he says every single day to every one of us because of our mental health. To have someone in your job tell you this is what you need to do. Shut it down, cut it off, don't answer the phones no more.
Yeah, no, it's important to draw that line.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
I think
you have to know.
sometimes people just are always on. I mean, listen, we have to be cognizant that,
Yeah.
I think sometimes people are like, well, I'm not really self-aware. You're more self-aware than you think. You just have to be in tune with that.
I think you don't know though. I think what happens is you know, but you don't do anything about it. And actions have to take place. You can know it, but you have to take action, whether it's to see a therapist, whether it's to take downtime, whether it's to walk away from a situation. You have to do something. It's the action that makes it happen.
Absolutely. And there's no shame in getting therapy, getting treatment. Folks who do seek treatment, who have any kind of mental health challenges, they have been known to improve their quality of life. And who doesn't want to improve their quality of life? I mean, there's always tools out there to kind of help you move along, especially when you're in those stuck places.
Right.
So, I think that this is such an important topic. Obviously, we could talk about this, forever, but we'll do it in pieces, given that it is, Mental Health Month and Mental Health Illness Week. We definitely want to put a spotlight on this because we know that it is a topic that is not explored or talked about enough, and we shouldn't have shame, because at the end of the day, when you come from that place of shame, then you're only hurting yourself, and there's nothing to be shameful about. It's important to own the things that you go through and not be embarrassed by it.
Right. So. And if anyone wants to reach out to one of us, you can reach out to us via email at webswomen@gmail.com, WEBS women, WOMEN @gmail.com. If you want to reach out to us and ask us any questions, vent, you need a number, you need to figure out who to call. If you need to reach out to us anytime, you can do that.
Absolutely. Everything is kept confidential.
Correct.
We really appreciate the following. I know we've been off the air for probably about 2 weeks now. We're only aired, I believe, twice in September. And now, we're kicking off October. But thank you for supporting us. And remember, everyone, you're listening to Webs Women,
where exposure brings strength.